Guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Marina here, and I am so glad to have you back. If it's your first time here, you're welcome. My name is Marina. I make videos from Saskatoon, Canada, where I talk about life issues and my experiences as a Nigerian immigrant in Canada. Please do well to hit the subscribe button, join our family, and turn on the bell notification so that you know every time a new video is uploaded. To my returning subscribers, my OGs, welcome you guys. It's always such a pleasure to have you here. Guys, today I'm going to be talking about something with a little bit of a twist. Talking about what I'm talking about today for two major reasons. I understand that I have subscribers who are from a range of different countries, and not everybody who watches my video is a person of color or a black person, and they may not be able to fully relate with some of the things that I've talked about, especially in my last video where I expressed my frustrations about issues that border around racism and gender-based violence. I understand that people might not be able to fully relate with that because they are not experiences that you may be familiar with. And then secondly, I have friends who are non-black. I have friends, I have colleagues, I have neighbors, I have people around me who are not black people and may be experiencing some kind of difficulty relating to what is going on right now. So today I've put a short list of things together that a non-black person can do to help in this situation and lend their voice to this fight against injustice that is centered around race. Okay, so today's video is going to be an open note to the non-black person who watches this video. Dear non-black person, this is where you come in. This is how you can help. The first thing you can do is to educate yourselves. There are a lot of resources that you can find online. There are movies, there are resources that are online that you can go and look into. There's history books that you can check. It will give you an understanding of the frustration of a black person at the moment. It will help you understand the rage, the anger that we see being displayed in reactions that have been sparked because of the issues that are going on. Read. Check them out. There are a number of movies on Netflix I know that you can watch that give you an indication of what it is like to be black in this day and age. Typical example, When They See Us is a good movie. It's a good example of where you can start. Start from there, watch, and just see what's going on. Just to give yourself like a general idea and a base understanding of the frustrations of the black man at the moment. Okay? Second thing that you can do is just sit down and think about these things. Recognize your privileges. Recognize your privileges and admit your implicit biases. Whether we accept it or not, those things are there. A number of times, these biases are somewhat unconscious. You do not even realize that you have those biases, but they are there. Time has come for us to sit down and really begin to ask these questions. Why do I think about this the way I think about it? Why do I feel this way about this person? You have privileges as a non-black person, and that's the truth. Ignoring the fact that that is a thing, ignoring the fact that that exists, might just be contributing to the problem. So, first, recognize your privileges. There are privileges for you in the way you find schools for your children, the way you find childcare, how you go grocery shopping, how you find apartments. You would think that those are supposed to be basic things. Like I like a school, I just go there, enroll my children, and that's it. I like an apartment, it's listed online, I just go and view it, I like it, I pay, I'm moving, right? You would think that it's that simple. But for a black person, we are thinking about all of that. And can I really put my children in this school? Where are they not going to be told that when God made human beings, he made black people last? That's what some of our children have to deal with in school. What childcare is even going to be willing to firsthand accept my child without doing it from a place of pity? For you, you find childcare you like, you pay, you put your children, that's it. For me, I am worried about the person who's giving my childcare. What is their impression of black people? There are some apartments that you see listed, you call to book a viewing. By the time you show up and the door opens and the person who has the apartment sees it's a black person, the apartment becomes no longer available. You go back online a couple of days later and that apartment is still listed. But for you, it's a simple thing. You view, you like, you pay, you're moving. It's not that simple for other people. There are privileges that you have. You go into a store, you're shopping, you pick what you like, you go to the counter, you pay, you go out. Easy, right? For me, I walk into that store, same thing, I'm looking around, I'm looking for what I like, I'm going to pick what I like, but somebody is following me because by default they assume that I may just want to take something and not pay for it. But for you, You have the freedom to do what you like. For me, somebody hovers around me. That is privilege. For you, understanding that those privileges exist will be a good first step for you to know that this is not an equal playing field. It's not a level playing ground. The privileges that you enjoy being a non-black person are not available to me as a black person. I'm worried when I'm thinking about extracurricular activities to put my kids in, because I'm thinking, where is it not going to be put, or where is she not going to be put at the back of the park because she's black? Where is she not going to be told that when God was making people, they forgot the black man in the oven and that's why he came out burnt? Some of our children have been told those things in school, but that's not something you can ever wrap your head around, because it's not an experience you can relate with. But that is the reality of the average black man. We have biases, we all do. When you see a black person, you're walking alone on the road and a black man is walking towards you, what is your default response? Are you afraid? Are you suddenly agitated? You're going to get attacked? Are you suddenly moving your purse to the other side, away from where the person is coming from, because by default you assume that he might just want to snatch your purse and run away? That's implicit bias right there. What is your default response to a person of color? So we must sit down. You must sit down and begin to reevaluate your biases. Begin to reevaluate your impression of people of color and start to ask yourself, why do you feel that way? What has fed your impression of a person of color? What if you're wrong about that impression you have? What if you're wrong about that bias that you have? Time has come for you to sit down and reevaluate these things, because those biases are there. Another thing you can do as a white person is to speak up against injustice and call out discriminatory practices. When you have now read and you understand the history, when you now sit down and understand your own biases, it doesn't just stop there. You have to do something about it. You have to now start to speak up. You have to call out behavior that have the discriminatory undertones. When you are in that line in the store and the cashier will treat a person of color a certain way, you stand and call that out. Do not laugh at racial jokes with your friends in your own circle where everybody looks the same and they make those jokes about the new person of color who has joined a team, or the new something the person of color did, and it becomes a joke with race. Call that out. Don't laugh at racial jokes. I'm telling you, it is very painful to be the butt of jokes like that. Don't laugh at it. You can call it out. Start from your circle. Start from your family and your friends. For you, it is a harmless joke. But for a person of color, it is a joke that attacks the very core of who we are. It is a joke that attacks the identity of a person. And if somebody jokes with something that is an identity for you, it is going to hurt. So time has come for you to use your voice, use your privilege, use the whatever freedom it is you enjoy because you're not a person of color. That is exactly what you want to use to fight against the injustices and the oppression that is being meted out to people of color. You now have to control the conversations you have on your dinner table. You have to change those conversations. You can't afford to be colorblind, not at this time. Racism is not innate. You're not born racist. Nobody's born racist. Racism is a learned behavior. And we can start to tackle it from the kind of conversations that we have at home. On the dinner table, what kind of conversations do you have? When that new person of color joins your team and you're talking to your partner or you're talking to your family about how your day went, and you make mention of the fact that a new team member has joined your team and the person is a person of color, how do you relate that message? You may not necessarily come out to say, oh, black person, or use any derogatory language, but body language, your tone, you might just be selling an idea to your children that something is wrong with a person of color joining a team. When you watch that movie and that scene with the black man comes up and something is happening, like, what is the reaction? You have to start to watch those things. It might help to now start to have conversations with your children. Help them understand that, yes, there's only one race. It is the human race. Nobody should be looked down on because of skin color. Nobody should be looked down on because of their race. It might help to have those conversations with your children so that we don't have to tell our children to look over their backs in school. So who is telling our children that when God made human beings, he made the black person last? It's their classmates. Where are those conversations stemming from? So we need to go back and tackle this from our houses. Have these conversations with your children so that we can have less awkward conversations with ours. If you tackle this from your houses, you make our work a little more manageable. Change those conversations. Change those conversations. If you understand your biases, if you're conscious about changing your biases, then you should make the conscious effort in changing the conversations that are happening around your dinner table, around your inner circle, with your friends, with your family. If you look around your circle, you might just find that you have friends who would never rent out their apartments to people of color. You will find out that you have friends who are running organizations that have no diversity on their teams. It's happening amongst us. It might not be something that people are doing consciously, but it is time for us to now start to make these corrections consciously. It is time for us to now start to think and understand the role that we all play in the grand scheme of things. And if you do not lend your voice to this, if you do not begin to call out those things, if you do not begin to watch your own biases and make the change from where you stand, from the things that you have control over, we're going to be having these conversations for a long time to come. These biases will be handed down to the next generation, and our children will continue to have this conversation, and it is very unfair. There is no need for our children to still suffer the things we suffer today. We can start to make the difference, one family at a time, one dinner table at a time, one inner circle at a time. You can lend your voice to it from where you are, where you stand, with your freedom, with your privileges. All lives matter. I hear you loud and clear, and that is very correct. But if all lives truly matter the way they should, why is there a need for us to say Black Lives Matter? If all lives truly matter on the same scale like they should, why is there so much injustice against the black man? All lives matter. But that is not the conversation you want to bring up right now. While I hear what you're trying to say when you say all lives matter and the only race I know is the human race, while it is very convenient to say that, think about it again. Do all lives truly matter? Some lives clearly matter more than others. And in this case, the advantaged one is you. So no, this is not the time to counter the Black Lives Movement by saying all lives matter. While that is correct, the timing is off. At this time, reach out to your friends, your colleagues, and the people of color who you have relationships with around you. It is a tough time being a black person right now. With an understanding of all of these things that I just said, reach out to them from a place of genuine care and concern. There's a difference between care and concern and then pity. You're not reaching out to them from a place of pity. You're reaching out to them from a place of genuine concern, knowing that they're dealing with things that you may never be able to relate with. Knowing that you are living with privileges that a black man may never be able to access. If you think about it, you would know that your black friends at this time, they need you. At this time, they need you, not just to be there, not just to listen, but for you to stand up and lend your voice to this. The fact that you're unable to relate with the experiences of the black person does not give you a right to dismiss it. Just listening, sometimes just being there, sometimes just asking, what can I do? That's all they need. The time for you to speak up against this injustice is now. The time for you to genuinely show concern so that we're handing over a generation that is better to our children, better for everybody. Another thing you can do is sign petitions. The petitions that call out discriminatory practices. Donate to causes that are calling out systemic racism, because these things are amongst us. And the fact that you're not a direct victim of it does not negate the fact that it exists. So donate to these causes, sign the petitions. Let us call out practices that propagate discrimination. Dear non-black person, this is what you can do, and this is where you come in. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you learned a thing or two from it. If you would like to have further conversation about this, my email address is going to be on the screen or in the description box. Please do want to check it out and send me an email. My social media handles are also going to be on the screen or in the description box. I'll be more than glad to connect with you to chat further about this. Until I come your way in my next video, my name is Marina, and I'm saying thank you and have an amazing day. Stay safe, everybody.